Hi, and welcome to this edition of Business Supes, where we interview successful business owners, learn a little bit about them, their business, and of course, their business superpower. Today, I am joined by Lena Trotter from Milty's Boys Septic. Lena, thanks so much for being here and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You are very, very welcome. So why don't you start us off here? Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about the business. What's your origin story?
My dad, he's the one who started Milty. He is Milty. Over the years, I've seen my dad get out in the trenches, and he's worked really hard. And he's also a pastor. And so seeing him extremely busy all the time, and seeing how it took a toll basically on his body. And my husband and I, we honor my father, and we just wanted to build the legacy. He started the company in 1996, the
Wow.
year my passed away. And so when my brother passed away, he started the business because he was working for another company, and they let him go because he had to travel back to Connecticut. He had to go to Florida, then travel back to Connecticut to bury him because he was in the Air Force. And so growing up, seeing him start this business and run the business, like, of course, it was inspirational. And then my husband, my dad, kind of took him in under him, started working with him. And then my husband was doing his own thing. He had a roofing and home restoration company. My dad was working late hours, and he just couldn't keep doing all that extra stuff. And he got into, like, he had fell asleep at the wheel because he was working such long hours traveling back and forth, and he had wrecked his truck. And so my husband and I, we wanted to help him. So we took on a portion of the business and then named it after him. And then as we've grown since then, because I've seen the same things that my dad went through, my husband was then now going through. And so I'm like, we can't just live our lives where we're pushing ourselves
Right.
and, like, basically killing yourself trying to, take care of everybody. And so we just really started coming up with the vision for the company and leaving a legacy, so that something that could live on even past us for generations. Because my dad has always had quality service. When people would call, they're like, we just love your dad. And, he's just such a great guy. And the same thing with my husband. And so we wanted to be able to pass on us into other people. So we just came up with that. And the past 10 years, my husband and I have been working on it. And then we have since expanded and hired a couple more pump truck drivers and people in the office, and getting, really scaling the business. So we want to eventually franchise, so that other people can have the same type of quality work. Because, most people have a home plumber, but when we've done our research, 50% of America is on a septic, and it's not easy to find good septic work. Not everybody wants to do the job. It's a nasty, and when you're backing
And that's something
up,
you want people to know what they're doing too, right? That you don't want that getting messed up.
Yeah, and I've gotten out there with my husband. I was out there in the trenches with him. I was like pulling roots out of systems, and working hard, because some jobs he couldn't do by himself. And then it was just like, I had hurt my back and I had to have surgery, trying to pick up some heavy equipment. And so we're just like, we need help. So God
Right.
blessed us and we have the help now. The business is expanding and growing. And, you know, like I said, the vision is for us to franchise it and pass on all of the processes and procedures that we have instilled and put in place, that we've had to come up together, like, you know, late nights. I've had to build our CRM. I had to build, you know, everything from the ground up, because even though we're a service company, most of like the CRMs, they say that they offer it, but they didn't have anything specifically for septic. They had maybe something for plumbing or HVAC, but there was
Right.
nothing specifically for septic. So I had to build it from the ground up,
So
basically.
that's really impressive how you all have grown, and that's one of the biggest things that I see is for business owners to start to free up their time and work more on the business instead of in the business. They've got to start handing off some of those tasks that keep them out in the field. So, but that comes with a whole nother set of challenges. So, what are some of the challenges that you saw as you've grown?
I'll say a few of the challenges, and this was a big thing, is that because it started off as a family-owned business, initially you're thinking, okay, well, we want to keep family in it. Well, you know, of course, I always have reservations because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
family will take advantage. And then you have to be like, I'm your boss, you know, and I had to,
Right.
if you do something that's not right, I have to let you go. And so there had been a challenge with, you know, a family member that, you know, he wanted a job. We gave him a job, and then he fell asleep at the wheel, wrecked the truck. And then when we wanted to test him for, you know, narcotics and stuff like that, he didn't want to do it, but he did it. And then while we're waiting for the results, he went and got another job, and then kind of left us high and dry.
Yep.
So then my husband now has to go back in the field, and then now we're having to go through the process of hiring again. So I would say that's one challenge is, you know, I don't think, you know, and even in the beginning, I'll say that I had reservations of hiring family. So I always feel like if you have a reservation with that, you should just stick with, you know, that gut feeling. Second thing is getting someone up to speed. You know, whether because if you hire someone who has experience, usually they know it all, or they feel like they know it all, and then they're
Right.
not doing, you would do it. And we have a culture and we have a way of doing things, and we have, you know, we're big on making sure that like we give a 5-star experience. We're just not here to take your money. We're here to
Right.
that we care. And, you know, if this was my grandmother and she was backing up, I'd want someone to take care of her, not rip her off. And so
Right.
passing that on, that could be a little difficult. And then trying to train someone who has basically no knowledge of like how to do office stuff, but getting them caught up. And I do believe like processes and procedures are key, because then you can
Mm-hmm.
go back to the process. You can say, did you do it this way? Our CRM, like it records all of our phone calls. So we're able to, you know, go back and say, okay, we need to correct you here.
Right.
Um, say those are some of the challenges. The other challenges are breakdowns, of course, and weather with our
Right.
type of business. So if it's snowing, or if it's raining, or if it's like, even if it's too cold outside where it drops and the engine freezes, those are different variables. And when somebody's backing up, they don't really care that your truck is going
Right.
down, you know. So you have to be able to get that person to empathize with you, because it's like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you understand that, you know. But for the most part, like we've gone out in the snow, we've gone out in the rain, and the heat, and our customers, like, they appreciate that we care about you, and we want you up and running, and we can see what we can do. Even to get you by, we can get our big truck out there. We might just send, someone in a truck that's, accessible, that's it's not going to have a problem
Right. Yeah.
with the,
Put a Band-Aid on it
yeah.
until we can get out there and fix it right. So what is it about owning a business that you like? What's your favorite part?
I'll say the stuff that I like most about it is more freedom, in a sense, even though it's like I don't have to ask for time off, right? And
Okay.
initially, like I said, for the first 8 or 9 years, it was just my husband and I. So when we would take a vacation, I still had to bring a cell phone and a laptop,
Right.
and I still had the schedule. So when if we didn't have someone hired, then, and he was the only one that was working, I was working, but he would get the vacation because he's off. And
Right.
then, people with emergencies calling, I love that I can supply, I'll say, people with work as well, like, and integrity. And because I came from a working background, I came from working for doctors, being in the office, and just working all together. So it's like customer service, that was my thing. I already knew how to do that. So my thing
Right.
is like, it's you want to pass on that customer service type of attitude. And so I wanted our business to have that level of customer service, that we care, that people, like, it's not just oh, they came and did the job, and okay, they did a good
Right.
job. Actually care about, like, oh, this lady called, my husband passed away, then there's been times where I'm able to help them, like, deal with those emotions as well as
Right.
just a person. And so I'll say, really, the big thing to me is freedom, and being able to, I can travel, and I don't have to, like, ask somebody for that time off. I'm taking that time off,
Yeah,
so.
it's so funny because when I ask that question, almost every single time a business owner will say something freedom, whether it's financial
Yes.
freedom, time freedom, the freedom to pick who I work with. There's always
Right.
some type of tie there, so that's awesome. All right, so the question that started this whole interview series off, what would you say
Hmm.
is your business superpower?
Well, I was like, I say our superpower. Um, our integrity. That's one superpower that we have, that is like, we care about the work that we do.
Hmm.
And, like, we're also able to do jobs that most other companies cannot. We get people from, like, I'll say Roto-Rooter is a nationally known plumbing
Right.
company. They are here locally, and they will refer their customers to us. There's other septic companies that refer their customers to us because my dad has set this standard, and he's
Hmm.
like, call him the poop doctor. It's like he has this way of being able to figure stuff out that normal people will say, oh, well, this is impossible. Well, call Milty, he could figure it out. And
All
so,
the poop
and he's
doctor.
passed.
Nice.
Yeah, call the poop doctor. He can help that out. And I feel there's times where I feel like we save the day because someone is, they're backing up, or they're having a problem, or another company came out, told them that they needed to do all this stuff that's going to cost them thousands of dollars, and we come
Mhm.
out and we're like, oh no, this is like $100 and something dollar fix, and we've saved them thousands of dollars. And then
Right.
we educate them as well, so that they will continue to save thousands of dollars, because if they neglect their system, then that's going to cause them to have clogs and backups, which
Right.
is going to cost thousands of dollars of repairs.
Not,
So
yeah.
we try to be educated. Yeah.
Nice. So what, you've been a business owner now for quite a while. So what one piece of advice would you have for other business owners?
I would say one of the pieces of advice would be to give yourself grace. Not going to please everybody. No matter how hard you try, you're going to have someone who they may just not want to be a happy person. They, for whatever reason that
Right.
is. So, don't take that stuff personally, and learn to leave the business at the business. Learn to separate home from business.
Hmm.
So that, you don't, it's not your whole entire life. If you had an actual job, you would leave your work and then come home. So
Right.
yeah, you're gonna think about your job and you're gonna think, oh, well, that person had this problem, but you just have to shut it off. Shut it off
Hmm.
and like enjoy being the leader that you are, and always have integrity. Like, own it. If you've done something wrong, or if you said something, and or you're and be mindful of your attitude, and what you're bringing in to your employees, to your customers, because whatever you pour out is going to come back. If you answer
Right.
the phone, hello, that's going to change the whole perspective. People are going to
Right. Yeah.
hear tone. So having a tone, even when you're getting bad news, you have to shut that bad news off, and change your tone. And I think that's what I would say. Yeah.
No, I love that, giving grace to yourself, because so often so many of us don't do that. So I think that's some fantastic advice, Lena. So thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us today, and for sharing your business superpower.
Thank you for your patience with me.